The economy of the United Arab Emirates is the second largest in the Arab world, with a gross domestic product of $570 billion in 2014. The United Arab Emirates has been successfully diversifying its economy. 71% of UAE's total GDP comes from non-oil sectors. Although UAE has the most diversified economy in the GCC, the UAE's economy remains extremely reliant on oil. With the exception of Dubai, most of the UAE is dependent on oil revenues. Petroleum and natural gas continue to play a central role in the economy, especially in Abu Dhabi. More than 85% of the UAE's economy was based on the oil exports in 2009. While Abu Dhabi and other UAE Emirates have remained relatively conservative in their approach to diversification, Dubai, which has far smaller oil reserves, was bolder in its diversification policy. In 2011, oil exports accounted for 77% of the UAE's state budget. Dubai suffered from a significant economic crisis in 2007 to 2010 and was bailed out by Abu Dhabi's oil wealth. Dubai's current prosperity has been attributed to Abu Dhabi's petrodollars. Dubai is currently in extreme debt. Tourism is one of the main sources of revenue in the UAE, with some of the world's most luxurious hotels being based in the UAE. Although the UAE is now less dependent on natural resources as a source of revenue, petroleum and natural gas exports still play an important role in the economy, especially in Abu Dhabi. A massive construction boom, an expanding manufacturing base, and a thriving services sector are helping the UAE diversify its economy. Nationwide, there is currently $350 billion worth of active construction projects. The UAE is a member of the World Trade Organization and OPEC. Overview: UAE has the second largest economy in the Arab world, with a gross domestic product of $377 billion in 2012. A third of the GDP is from oil revenues. The economy was expected to grow for Euro 4.5% in 2013, compared to 2.3% Euro 3.5% over the previous 5 years. Since independence in 1971, UAE's economy has grown by nearly 231 times to 1.45 trillion United Arab Emirates dirhams in 2013. The non-oil trade has grown to 1.2 trillion United Arab Emirates dirhams, a growth of around 28 times from 1981 to 2012. Prior to independence from the UK and unification in 1971, each emirate was responsible for its own economy. At the time, pearl diving, seafaring and fishing were together the mainstay of the economy, until the development of Japanese cultured pearls and the discovery of commercial quantities of oil. Previous UAE President Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan is credited with bringing the country forward into the 20th century and using the revenue from oil exports to fund all the necessary development. Likewise, former UAE Vice President Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum had a bold vision for the Emirate of Dubai and foresaw the future in not petroleum alone, but also other industries. External trade. With imports totaling $273.5 billion in 2012, UAE passed Saudi Arabia as the largest consumer markets in the region. Exports totaled $314 billion, which makes UAE the second largest exporter in the region. UAE and India are each other's main trading partners, with the latter having many of its citizens working and living in the former. The trade totals over $75 billion. The report, GCC Trade and Investment Flows, found that China and India in particular have the greatest potential to drive the region a Euro unregistered trademark S economic profile. China especially is touted as a Euro game changer. A Euro GCC China trade grew faster than with any other significant trade partner in the 3 years to 2013, according to the study by the Economist Intelligence Unit. Asia as a whole accounted for 67% of GCC exports and 40% of imports in 2013. The UAE is the main trading partner of Africa within the GCC, with approximately 80% of the Euro unregistered trademark S imports from Africa being primary products, such as food produce and beverages. In Q3 2014, Dubai Euro unregistered trademark S total non-oil trade with Africa reached a value of 89 billion United Arab Emirates dirhams, according to Dubai Customs. Vision stated that total non-oil trade between Dubai and Africa has grown by over 700% over the last decade. The UAE also has significant economic ties with the USA, UK and other European countries. Diversification. Although UAE has the most diversified economy in the GCC, the UAE's economy remains extremely reliant on oil. With the exception of Dubai, most of the UAE is dependent on oil revenues. Petroleum and natural gas continue to play a central role in the economy, especially in Abu Dhabi. More than 85% of the UAE's economy was based on the oil exports in 2009. While Abu Dhabi and other UAE Emirates have remained relatively conservative in their approach to diversification, Dubai, which has far smaller oil reserves, was bolder in its diversification policy. In 2011, oil exports accounted for 77% of the UAE's state budget. Dubai suffered from a significant economic crisis in 2007 to 2010 and was bailed out by Abu Dhabi's oil wealth. Dubai's current prosperity has been attributed to Abu Dhabi's petrodollars. Dubai is currently in extreme debt. The UAE government has worked towards reducing the economy's dependence on oil exports by 2030. Various projects are underway to help achieve this, the most recent being the Khalifa port, opened in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi at the end of 2012. The UAE has also won the right to host the World Expo 2020, which is believed to have a positive effect on future growth, although there are some skeptics which mention the opposite. Over the decades, the Emirate of Dubai has started to look for additional sources of revenue. High-class tourism and international finance continue to be developed. In line with this initiative, the Dubai International Financial Center was announced, offering 55.5% foreign ownership, no withholding tax, freehold land and office space and a tailor-made financial regulatory system with laws taken from best practice in other leading financial centers like New York, London, Zarwan Quarter Rich and Singapore. A new stock market for regional companies and other initiatives were announced in DIFC. Dubai has also developed internet and media-free zones, offering 100% foreign ownership, no tax office space for the world's leading ICT and media companies, with the latest communications infrastructure to service them. Many of the world's leading companies have now set up branch offices, and even changed headquarters to there. Recent liberalization in the property market allowing non-citizens to buy freehold land has resulted in a major boom in the construction and real estate sectors, with several signature developments such as the two Palm Islands, the World, Dubai Marina, Jumeirah Lake Towers, and a number of other developments, offering villas and high-rise apartments and office space. Emirates was formed by the Dubai government in the 1980s and is presently one of the few airlines to witness strong levels of growth. Emirates is also the largest operator of the Airbus A380 aircraft. As of 2001, budgeted government revenues were about 29.7 billion United Arab Emirates dirhams, and expenditures were about 22.9 billion United Arab Emirates dirhams. In addition to finding new ways of sustaining the national economy, the UAE has also made progress in installing new, sustainable methods of generating electricity. This is evidenced by various solar energy initiatives at Masdar City and by other renewable energy developments in parts of the country. Human resources and employment. Emiratization is an initiative by the government of the UAE to employ more UAE nationals in a meaningful and efficient manner in the public and private sectors. While the program has been in place for more than a decade and results can be seen in the public sector, the private sector is still lagging behind, with citizens only representing 0.34% of the private sector workforce. This is generally because the current generation of UAE locals prefer cushy government jobs and consider private sector jobs to be below them. Also, because of the benefits available from the UAE government, most locals would rather rely on these benefits and not go to work. While there is general agreement over the importance of emiratization for social, economic and political reasons, there is also some contention as to the impact of localization on organizational efficiency. It is yet unknown whether, and the extent to which, employment of nationals generates returns for MNEs operating in the Middle East. Recent research cautions that localization is not always advantageous for firms operating in the region, and its effectiveness depends on a number of contingent factors. In December 2009, however, a positive impact of UAE citizens in the workplace was identified in a newspaper article citing a yet unpublished study, this advantage being the use of networks within the evolving power structures. Overall, however, uptake in the private sector remains low regardless of significant investments in education, which have reached record levels, with education now accounting for 22.5% a euro, or $2.6 billion a euro of the overall budget planned for 2010. Multiple governmental initiatives are actively promoting Emiratization by training anyone from high school dropouts to graduates in a multitude of skills needed for the, essentially Western, work environment of the UAE. These initiatives include Torteen UAE, ENDP, or the Abu Dhabi Torteen Council. There are very few anti-discrimination laws in relation to labour issues, with Emiratis Euro, and other GCC nationals Euro being given preference when it comes to employment, even though they show scant regard for work and learning on the job. Unions are generally banned, and workers with any labour issues are advised to be in touch with the Ministry of Labour, instead of protesting or refusing to work. Abuse of blue-collar workers by their employers is rife. Migrant employees often complain of poor workplace safety and wages based on nationality, although this is being slowly addressed. Beyond directly sponsoring educational initiatives, the Emirates Foundation for Philanthropy is funding major research initiatives into Emiratization through competitive research grants, allowing universities such as United Arab Emirates University or Dubai School of Government to build and disseminate expertise on the topic. Academics working on various aspects of Emiratization include Paul Dyer, 12, and Natasha Ridge from Dubai School of Government, Ingo Forsten-Lechner, 13, from United Arab Emirates University, Kasem Randari from the British University of Dubai, and Paul Noglinger from the FHWIEN. Investment. The stock market capitalization of listed companies in the UAE was valued at $109.9 billion in October 2012 by Bloomberg. See also, Economy of Dubai, National Bonds Corporation PJSC, List of free trade zones in UAE, Human rights in the United Arab Emirates. References. External links, UAE Economy on the CIA World Factbook, United Arab Emirates Economic Development at DMOZ, United Arab Emirates Economic Profile from the Lebanese Economy Forum, extracted from the CIA Factbook and World Bank data, Oil and gas infrastructure in the UAE, banking in Dubai, World Bank Summary Trade Statistics United Arab Emirates, employment in Middle East.